So our second example scenario is a network error. The computer is connected to the local network, but it's having trouble reaching the outside world. It's having trouble reaching the internet. So let's think about what our first step would be here. And we'll do that in this case by thinking about what we know. We did that pretty intuitively with the garbled output on the monitor example in the previous module. In this example, let's think about what we know. It's connected to the local network. We have access to the computer via the local network. What does that tell me? Well, it tells me from whatever terminal or computer I'm at, there's a good route to the server. Okay? It tells me that at least on a basic level, I'm getting from my computer through an Ethernet cable to a router, a switch, a hub, through another cable, at least one other cable, to the server. It's telling me that the network card on the server seems to be functioning at least in a local capacity, and that tells me that very likely my first step here is going to be my internet configuration within the server itself. That's what I would consider to be the first step here. Now, could it be a weird card or something like that? Hardware component? It could be. Very unlikely to have local network access but not internet access on a failing network card. Doesn't seem very likely. I'd say that's like way, way, way down there on like Ripley's Believe It or Not. Can't believe this is happening. But it is possible, I suppose. What seems most likely and what would be our first step would be our internet configuration on the system itself. Beginning to check the configuration on the machine itself. Maybe there's an IP address conflict that could involve the router a little bit. Okay, so the router could be involved as well. That IP address conflict can do lots of weird things, including having local access but no internet access. So that's something to consider. You also need to make sure you haven't jumped to the conclusion that you have an internet connection error. And when we talk more specifically about network errors, I'm going to show you how I go about testing to make sure that I really don't have internet access. Don't believe just one program or one error on the server that says I can't connect to the internet. Okay? It could be that software package or a configuration within that software package. So this one's a lot more complex than the previous example in the previous module about the garbled monitor output, but I would say the first step is going to be the internet configuration on the server itself, and that's where I would start. You'll head to the networking section here within the course to talk about troubleshooting and fixing those network errors specifically, but for the purposes of this module, we're done. We've taken our first step, and we can move on to our next scenario where we have a server that has been turning on and off, seems to be at random. It's not staying on.